Okay, so with our circuits, we created that blink circuit the other day and in Tinkercad. So let's go back into that. And when you click on it, you can click Tinker this, and it will load it up again so that we can use it. So what we are going to do is we're going to add a second LED light, and we're going to add a breadboard. And I'm going to explain a few things before we begin. First off, just a reminder that we've set up the code, and the code is so that the set pin 12 to high, so the LED light is wired to that, and set built-in LED to high, which is wired to pin 13, which is that light. So right now we're going to actually have two lights, but we're going to program them to do separate things. So to add a second light here, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add a small breadboard. And a breadboard, whoops, edit undo, I just need to click and move this. Well, I'm just going to undo that. I'm just going to bring in the breadboard over here so it's not, when I dragged it onto there, everything got connected. So a breadboard, it literally started as an actual breadboard, and people would hammer in nails and connect wires. And the idea is you can't use this in the real world like this because you would need to hold the wires together for everything to be connected. So that's an issue. So I'm going to just delete this wire because I'm going to show you a few things. So that wire was the ground wire. And you'll see with my LED light, when I hold my mouse over it, this leg, the shorter leg, is called the cathode. And an LED light is a light emitting diode. And a diode is a type of electronics where electricity can only flow in one direction. So that's really important, that my ground has to be connected with the cathode. And because I'm going to be connecting multiple lights, there are three ground connections on the Arduino. But if I can use the breadboard to allow me to plug in many more lights than just three. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the ground and drag and click to my breadboard. And you can see I am now connected, and when I hold my mouse over the connection, all of these little circles light up. So this rail, when I connect to that particular spot, every single element is now connected in this rail. And I'm going to click that wire and I'm going to change it to black. It's useful to keep color coordinated. Ground is traditionally black, so it's good to keep it that way. I'm going to delete that wire, and I'm going to add my LED light over here. And just, whoops, I'm not going to do this quite yet. And I'm going to delete this. So this one needs to go from 12 to the resistor. Now, with the resistor, a couple things that I want to point out. First off, on the breadboard, I'm actually going to turn it sideways. So there's a rotate button, which will allow me to rotate it. So now I've got it the way I want it. You'll also notice that the value of the resistor, this is really important. This resistor is 220 ohms, and the red is the value 2, so there's 22, and this value right here is the brown, the 10 times multiplier. So 22 times 10 is 220, so that's how I know it's 220 ohms. So I'm going to drag this over here and click it right there. I'm just going to move this. I'm going to take my black wire and, whoops, didn't want to do that. I want to click my black wire. I'm going to drag the end here so that everything's nice and tidy. Okay, so here I've got my connection, so I've got my ground. Now I'm going to add another wire right there. So now my ground goes to the rail. This is connected to the rail, so it goes here. This is all connected to the same column, so it goes to my cathode. So my ground is connected to the cathode. Then this side is the anode. So the longer side is the anode, and it is connected to this column, which my resistor is connected to. There's my resistor, and I'm going to click in this column, and I'm going to connect my resistor to pin 13. And I'm going to change it to red because I am dealing with a red LED. So if I run this now, it should flash on and off. And a couple key things, I'm just going to demonstrate something. So I'm going to make a mistake. Instead of connecting to the rail, I've now connected here, and so this is not connected at all. So if you see it now, I can see that this light is lighting up on the Arduino, but my LED light is not. And this is really important to troubleshoot. If you have a mistake, trace your wires, so ground, and look at where it's connected. Oh, it's not connected, so that's what I need to fix. And when you make a correction like that, test it right away. If that solves your problem, great. If not, then you move on to the next thing. Another common problem, I'm just going to move this, and I'm going to rotate it. And the reason I'm rotating it is because, remember, I said the cathode has to be connected to ground. Well, now my cathode is connected to the same thing, to pin 13, which is a positive. So now my LED light is not connecting. So that's a really important thing, is that you need to make sure that your LED light, the cathode, is connected to ground. So there's a bunch of troubleshooting things when you do this that can help. So that's good. I've got this done. I've already got my code. So my code has for number 12, so I'm just going to add some components. So I am going to add another LED light. I'm going to move it over here. Now this LED light I'm going to change to yellow. Okay, so there's my LED light, and I can add a wire from here to there, and that's my cathode. So now I've got a series, so that's good. And I'm going to add a resistor. Now, with this resistor, I want to point something out. This resistor, the default is 1 kiloohms. So that provides a lot more resistance, which is going to be a problem. And I can quickly see that it's different, because the colors on my resistor are different. Brown, black, red, gold will give me 1 kiloohm. So I'm going to wire this up anyways, because I want to show you what happens. I'm going to click that and click to pin 12, and I'm going to change my color to yellow. And I'm going to just double click this wire and just bend it, just to make it look a little bit neater. Okay, so if I run this now, my red light is going on and my yellow light is going on, but it's much dimmer. And that's because there is more resistance. So if I click the resistor, I can type in 220. There it is, 220 ohms. If I run this now, notice how much brighter my LED light is. The lights are both going on and off at the same time. So I'm going to change my code. So the built-in, when it's high, I'm going to have my yellow being low. And my yellow will be high when my red is low. So if I run this now, you can see my lights are turning on and off. And I've now been able to program it and wire it up so that I've got 2 different LED lights. Have a good day.